Well, good morning, folks. I'm meteorologist Eric Taylor with another episode here of the Charm City Classroom. And this go around, we're talking about heat as we're now starting to come in to the warm season here in spring. We've already had temperatures in the 70s to right around 80 degrees. We even had that during the winter months, and we're likely to see some hotter conditions here as we start to build closer and closer to the summer. So why is this important? Well, the heat index is basically what it feels like to the skin. It's a combination of the temperature and the humidity, and with lower humidity, of course, the sweat evaporates and removes body heat. It also cools you down, and with high humidity, of course, you're likely to sweat more. The moist air, though, eventually limits some of that evaporation. And when the temperature gets hot enough, of course, you can start to experience some problems with high humidity and high temperatures in the form of heat exhaustion and heat stroke, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. So here's a couple of examples of heat index. With an air temperature of right around 80 degrees, you'll notice here on the graph below how small of an adjustment here with the relative humidity that the temperature goes up. The air temperature combined with that relative humidity value gives us these numbers down here below on this line, which represent the heat index. So with an air temperature of 80 degrees and a relative humidity value right around 70%, we're talking about a heat index value of 83 to 84 degrees. That's pretty easy to handle, but notice once we jack the temperature up a little bit more, 86 degrees there, and you'll notice here the relative humidity values, once again, the same as what we saw there on the first graph, 60, 65%, 70%. Notice 86 degrees at 70% humidity compared to our first example was around 83 degrees or 84 degrees on the heat index. But now look at it, 86 degrees on the air temperature, relative humidity at 70%. We get an air temperature or a feel-like number to the skin right around 95 degrees, and that is no joke for an extended period of time outdoors. That gets into what we call heat advisory criteria for the National Weather Service. So let's punch it up one more notch. Air temperature 92 degrees, relative humidity around 70 degrees, similar to the other examples, and you get a feel-like number to the skin at 112 degrees. That is very, very hot conditions, and of course, with very hot conditions, high humidity and high temperatures, and if you're working outdoors, whether it's in the garden, participating in sports, soccer, track and field this time of year, that can create some problems in the form of heat exhaustion. So you never want to leave pets or kids inside a closed vehicle. You never want to be inside a closed vehicle with all the windows up when it's very hot outside. You want to definitely use some common sense there. Look before you lock. That's one thing that we'll always stress. We'll get to that in just a minute there on hot car safety. Drink plenty of water and stay hydrated. That is key. Even now with COVID-19, you want to stay hydrated even if you have the virus. It's better to have hydration in the body at all times in the form of water. Reduce strenuous activities, find shade, and stay in air conditioning, especially when temperatures get hot. That cools the body, that helps, especially when you start to lose some of that sweat that cools the body. Wear lightweight and light colored clothing. Don't wear black during the summertime when you go outside, because of course that black coloring on the clothing, or whether it's a black car or a black mat or a black top down below, it absorbs that heat and that surface eventually then turns hotter. So you want to avoid looking like this guy here. High humidity out there, of course, is a problem. Interior car temperature, notice here we got a couple of lines. You could see as we start with the lower number, of course the line a lot lower here, but with time, of course, it gets over 100 degrees as minutes elapse. The higher the number here on the basically the axis here, the y-axis, you could see the higher the temperature will be. This just simply means the longer you stay inside of a car with very hot conditions outside, 85, 90 degrees, the hotter the temperature will be inside, whether or not, if the windows are cracked or closed, that will create some problems. So we cannot stress it enough. Look before you lock, because over the years, the stats really reveal themselves here in hot car deaths, and that includes where we were even last year at this time. We had a lot of deaths going into 2018 and 2019, 21 deaths. That came down though from where we were in 2018, over 52 hot car deaths. So look before you lock. It's just a little bit of common sense there. If you got to put something around the mirror to let you know that somebody is in the back seat, or you left something behind in the back seat, easily use some common sense there. Look before you lock. So once again, heat index, low humidity, of course. Sweat evaporation removes that body heat that allows the body to cool, but with high humidity, of course, we have the problem where you sweat it all out and eventually the body doesn't cool anymore and you get into heat exhaustion and heat stroke. So a little bit of knowledge there on heat index for this time of year. We hope this helps. This is our Charm City Classroom episode number 9. You can look back for other episodes on thunderstorms as well as tornadoes and the like here in the content menu below. Most of all, though, stay healthy out there, and we'll have another episode coming up with meteorologist Patrick Peet here in the coming days ahead.